I have made a discovery today. For the longest time, I have been really confused about one very simple concept in physics: rolling friction. And yes, it sounds like one of those things that should be easy to understand, but when I actually started thinking about it properly, I realized that most of us do not truly understand the mechanics of friction itself. We just learn the definition, repeat it, and move on. Friction is the force that arises due to the physical interaction of two objects and acts opposite to the direction of relative motion. That is the definition we are taught in school, and it is what all of us just accept. And to be fair, it does make sense. I was fine with it when it came to a sliding body getting slowed down by friction between the surfaces in contact. I could imagine it microscopically too, the ridges of the two surfaces gripping onto each other and reducing relative velocity. That part was fine. Everything was fine, until I started thinking about rolling friction. Because according to how I understood rolling, it takes advantage of friction. So this idea of some force called rolling friction made no sense to me. If rolling itself is using friction, then what friction is slowing it down? That was the part that always felt weird. Everyone else seemed to just accept it and move on as if it made complete sense, while I was stuck feeling uneasy about it. I thought about it a lot, I overcomplicated it sometimes. I even asked other people who seemed to have no problem with it, but their answers made absolutely no sense to me, because it felt like they were convincing themselves too. And then today, completely unrelated to what I was originally thinking about, I got into this random tangent of thought that finally brought me to the answer. And when I say it clicked, I mean it really clicked. I kept re-contemplating it to see if it actually made sense, and the funny part is that the answer is so simple that I was laughing at myself for staying in that confused state for so long. So here was the conclusion. First, let us redefine friction a little, because there's more to it than what we were taught. Imagine the situation mechanically and try to understand what is actually causing the speed to decrease. Take a single ridge of a moving body that comes into contact with a ridge from the surface. When they meet, the momentum of the ridge of the moving body gets dissipated into the ridge of the surface, and that is what slows the object down. That is friction. It happens because of momentum dissipation into the surface, which can end up becoming heat energy, changing the shape of the ridge, or displacing it. Now let's apply that to a rolling body. Consider a circular body with microscopic ridges on its surface, almost like gear teeth. The surface also has ridges. So when the object rolls, those ridges keep coming into contact with each other. And every time that happens, energy and momentum dissipation occurs. That dissipation acts in the direction opposite to the rotation or rolling of the object, which reduces its angular velocity, and therefore decreases the overall velocity of the object. So yes, in conclusion, friction happens because of the collision of ridges, and that is what decreases the velocity of the object we are concerned about. I really wanted to share this because I wish someone had told me this 1 year ago, so I would not feel uneasy every time I thought about friction. But at the same time, figuring it out myself was way better than any great explanation. Because when something finally makes sense on your own, it stays with you.